mentioned last time when you ran for mayor in 2006 that your interest was to make sure that he has to answer questions. You could be there at the forums to kind of raise issues.
Well, that's right.
This time, is that your role, or do you really hope you have a chance to be mayor?
Oh, I think I've got a great chance of getting elected. Burroughs has not shown much leadership, if any. The time he's been there, he hadn't been there 2 years, won't be 2 years till May. But the city has sunk further in the hole. I think there's some problems that he's done that should have not have happened. I don't understand this being hell-bent on annexing all this property, which we can't take care of. That's part of the problem. The DCTA mess, and I told them 10 years ago when I first got involved in Denton politics, when I came back, was DCTA is going to be a problem, and it has been a problem. And it turns out that the city of Denton had nothing, and I told them they had nothing to begin with. But before I left Washington, D.C., I knew what was going on with the rail lines down here, and I told the city of Denton, and I went to council and told them that rail line is in negotiation with DART, and the city needs to go get it. At that time, the city only had the right to use the roadbed for a hike and bike trail, but they didn't own it. So all I got was a smart remark from the mayor, and at that time, and I've pursued it ever since, and everything I've said so far has come true. And they've spent up God knows how many thousands of dollars and how much time coming to the same answer that I gave them 10 years ago. But I've seen no leadership in Burroughs. I see the same old going on, and I see this town going in the hole. Burroughs was chairman of the Capital Improvements Program, and there was almost $28 million voted bond money to fix our streets. And I think out of that about $4 million was used, and the rest of it disappeared. And it disappears, I call it the black hole of the general budget, where it goes. And that's why our streets are a disaster. The infrastructure is falling apart. And he hasn't done anything about doing that. I think he was on board as a council member when they voted for that biodiesel plant out there at the dump. And that's basically what's happened, is it's been dumped at the dump. It's not generating anything. I don't know how many millions of dollars we put into that. And I think he was on council and voted for it. Lord, what else has he failed to do?
There seems to be some impression that you have some attraction to the younger demographic, the folks that hang out maybe on Fry Street.
Well, there is.
What do you think accounts for that? And I guess more importantly, what do you think the younger demographic is wanting out of their city government?
Well, I'm not so sure that a lot of them know what's going on. First of all, the majority of those young people going to school out there in North Texas are in there to get a degree so they can go get a job. A tremendous amount of them commute, as you can tell by going out there and trying to find a parking place. Those that live in Denton, and I've seen this over the last 40 years, is that there are no jobs available in Denton for these people that graduate or who live here, and they have to go elsewhere. Whereas you get like in Austin, they stay, and it, increases the interest of the city, I guess, for lack of a better term. Denton hadn't had that opportunity, but Denton has a great music school, and there's not a venue anywhere in this town that these musicians can use other than going to bars. It's the only place they can play. So that's part of that park deal that I want to do out there on Fry Street, is give them some way to play their music out there. As far as the young people themselves, they're not represented by the administration in North Texas, and they're not enfranchised with the city either. And I think they have a lot to offer. I've for years wanted to do this intern program and pay them so that they could work in the city, and they're refreshing. You know, and when you get to be old, you get kind of set in your ways. But these kids are just a wealth of information. They know how to find things. I guess that's the beauty of the internet, is they do know how to find things. And they've got the exuberance, and I think that they're underutilized in Denton. We can put them to work. We can use them on intern programs. We can hire them summer times. People go on vacations in the city. The staff of the city, employees go on vacation, so somebody could fill in there. It can be done. It's just a matter of how the logistics of it can be worked out by the city, by staff. But somebody's got to implement the policy. Somebody's got to say, let's do this. And all I've heard for the last 10 years in this town is, well, that's the way we've done it. Well, they've run it in the ground.
So you're looking for new ideas.
Oh,
fresh.
yeah. Shoot, yeah. We need new ideas.
Well, our last question today, Mr. Clifton, is one I'm asking of all the candidates. It's just simply, what is it that you love about Denton?
Well, that's a good question. What do Probably the politics. Probably the politics. That's a great avocation. Oh, I don't know. There's a lot to love about Denton. I grew up here, and I've seen changes made, some for the good, a lot for the bad. The main problem that I have seen, and kind of ties into why I love Denton, is that there are people that come in here and think they know the town, and they like the ambience that's here, but they really don't know it. And by leaving people alone, Denton's had a pretty good time. And of course, I love the old times in Denton. I have some fond memories of it. I don't know what I would say specifically that I love about Denton. I think there's a lot of things to love. The people are probably the greatest amount. There's some great people in this town, and then there's some just real jaybirds. But the majority of the people are very pleasant. They may think I'm not, but I find them to be very entertaining. I enjoy them. But I think it's the people that make the town. And what is happening is that they're trying to regiment this town to where it looks like Plano or whatever, and that's not Denton, and never was, and I don't think it ever will be, unless it's just actually forced on people. But I think this financial crisis is going to ease off of the city getting in everybody's lives. But loving Denton, well, there's a lot to love about Denton. Lord, you just open the doors. So that's about it.
Well, this has been Bob Clifton, candidate for mayor against Mark Burrows in the May 8th City Council election. If you're not yet registered to vote, you need to do so by April 8th. And there's more information on our website, on the city's website, on how to do that. So thank you very much, Bob Clifton.
Quite well. Enjoyed it.
Yes.